He's getting older.
Stupid bitch. Oh, hit the full button.
But not wiser.
I can't see you though, bitch.
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, one and all, to the Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today, Thursday, the 21st of August in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014. Welcome, one, welcome all to the Lefty Show, episode number 78. Did I get that right? I got it wrong yesterday. No, I got it right this time. Hope to put on a good show for you today. I thank you all for joining me. I thank you all for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can find this show in its YouTube formation. I thank you all for doing that. Thank you all for watching me, or following me on Twitter. Twitter.com/Lefty643 is where you can do that, or just at Lefty643. Type that into the Twitters and you can find me there. Thank you to everybody that's been helping the show grow via sharing the show with friends, family, and co-workers. Head on over to leftyshow.podbean.com to find the RSS feed, or wherever you get your podcasts, Android apps or iOS apps, or on the iTunes store. Just search The Lefty Show. Wherever you go, search The Lefty Show. You'll find us there. Be sure to subscribe. Download all the episodes at your leisure and listen to them all and share the show. You're helping the show grow every time you do it. I thank you all for doing it. Thank you to everybody that has been donating to the show. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you can go to do that. All right. Got some news. Talked a couple weeks ago about the process, or the progress of Adam Carolla, podcasting royalty, fighting Personal Audio, the company trying to assert what I would deem is a do it on the internet or do it on a computer type of patent with respect to, it had something to do with digital playlists and episodic content, organized in a digital playlist, something like that. It was essentially yes, we have episodic content in an analog world, or in the cable world. You have episodic content in an analog TV, broadcast television, episodes all the time. Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Friday nights. Oh, it's everywhere. Sunday nights, a big deal. Animation domination on Fox, all those things. Episodic content all over the place. Now, this patent supposedly was, first of all, filed by some person not originally affiliated with Personal Audio long time ago. And it was essentially, yes, we'll do episodic content, but on a computer and on the internet. And in a bankruptcy filing, Personal Audio bought the rights to that patent. Again, how it's possible that you can leverage the rights, intellectual property rights, patents, copyright, all that, how you can leverage those rights as assets. And the rights are completely transferable. I have a patent on this. I can sell it to you for a certain amount of money. And then you have that patent. It's not even, I could create, Eli Whitney could have created and patented the cotton gin and then sold it to somebody, and it was as though they had created and patented the cotton gin, and could come after you and say, hey, give me the cotton gin. I've got cotton gin. Oh, I've got big money, old money. I got cotton gin money up in here. We're going to talk about a Rockefeller later in the news portion of the show. That's oil money. That's not even, no. Cotton gin money is true old money. And how that even passes logical muster, what are you doing? You're protecting the rights, first of all, of something that isn't even tangible. It's completely theoretical, and you're protecting it as though it's something real. If I have a process, you're allowing, patenting process or patenting this or that. Now I can't, wait a minute, if I just do the process now, I'm infringing on your patent? That doesn't make any sense. And not only are you allowing that, because it incentivizes, apparently, innovation. Not only are you doing that, but then you're allowing those protections to be sold off and treated as assets and liquidated in bankruptcy. Personal Audio didn't create anything. They didn't even try. They just bought something and then tried to sue a bunch of people with it. So they've been fighting Adam Carolla, who was unmistakably an inspiration for the format of this show, and the timing and the pacing and all that. They've been suing him, as well as a few other, I believe the Nerdist podcast and somebody else, as well as CBC, NBC, ABC, for violating their patent. Now, those are the whales, CBC, NBC, ABC. That's what they want. That's what Personal Audio wants. Because Adam Carolla and these other podcasts make a lot of money. I mean, you can charge pretty much whatever you want for advertising on the Adam Carolla show. Guaranteed you're gonna get some eyes on your product or content or whatever it is. But as much as money as Adam Carolla makes from his podcast, CBC does that in a weekend. CBS, that's the halftime commercial spots on the late CBS game for the NFL. That's what they charge. What Adam Carolla probably does in a year is what CBS does or NBC does for an entire block of advertisements on Sunday Night Football. And that's weekly. So Personal Audio wants to go after the big dogs, but hey, might as well, if you can set the precedent that podcasters, the biggest and baddest podcasters, Adam Carolla, Nerdist, and the like, are infringing upon your patent and owe you royalties, well, then you can go after every single podcaster. And like multi-channel networks, you'll make money off of getting royalties from Adam Carolla, but you'll probably make at least just as much money by getting royalties from every single person who wants to be have even a middling podcast like this. Because there are thousands of guys like me. There's only one Adam Carolla. So you get, $10,000 a year from Adam Carolla, but you get $100 a year from me. Well, there's way more of me than there is Adam Carolla. You'll make a lot more money taking a little bit from everybody. It's the same thing as taxes. How do you think, how do you think governments, we put a man on the moon, the Saturn V rocket. If any of you can make a pilgrimage to Florida, to the Kennedy Space Center, please do so. I believe there's one in Houston as well. There's a Space Center in Houston that has the Saturn V. But I've been to the Kennedy Space Center, and I'm telling you, go to the Kennedy Space Center and look at the Saturn V rocket, the Saturn V. Look at it. The bells on the engines, on the first stage engines. My God. I don't even know what the diameter is. It's huge. And it all worked, and it worked pretty well. And go look at the different stages. Then go look at the capsule. Look at all that. That's what the government did with taking just a little bit from everybody. Everybody in America. And, of course, there's that, and then there's there's more money because we say there's more money. I mean, there's that, too. The perk of being a government is, we just say there's more money. When the government has even quasi-control over the money supply, they can just say, there's more money now. Why? Where did it come from? Yeah, we say so. Go forth and spend. But the idea maintains you take a little bit from everybody. You take a little bit from everybody in America in the form of income tax and other kind of taxes on excise taxes and tariffs and all that on goods coming in. You take from everybody, and you've got a lot of money. You can go do whatever you want. You can go, I want to build a gigantic phallic object to send somebody to the moon. Let's make it happen. Okay, fine. I want to build a brand new warship. I want to build aircraft carriers. Let's go do this. I want to build the F-22 Raptor. Well, it's incredibly overpriced and over budget. Yeah, so what? Who cares? We've got 300 million people, and we're just taking a cut of them all day. That's what we do. So Personal Audio had had a big payday coming. Were they to successfully fight Adam Carolla for infringing supposedly on their patent as it applies to podcasts. Now, a couple weeks ago, there was news earlier in July. There was news that Personal Audio is trying to drop the lawsuit against Adam Carolla, and Adam Carolla, Personal Audio says, wasn't letting them do it because he was making, and they tried to say, well, because he wants to make more money from donations because he's keeping the money, and so on and so forth. Adam Carolla subsequently denied using the money and keeping the money for anything. He's saying he's fighting it, and he wouldn't go into details, and I don't know why, but it seems logical to me that what Personal Audio was trying to do was they were trying to drop the lawsuit without prejudice. They wanted to just go their separate ways from Adam Carolla, using what they've learned now on how to fight and what defense Carolla and other podcasters would mount, and then come back at a later date. They wanted to drop the case, and part of the settlement of dropping the case and say, okay, we're going to let you go now, is we can come back. We can come back and pick this back up whenever we want. And my guess is that Carolla and his legal team said no. And Personal Audio then tried to wage a PR war saying Adam Carolla is just trying to take your money and he doesn't really want this lawsuit to end. I mean, we're trying to end it because we think it's not really profitable, even though it really is. Podcasting is very profitable for Adam Carolla, and similarly, taking a little bit from every podcaster would be incredibly profitable for Personal Audio. What they didn't suspect, or what they didn't expect, was that Adam Carolla would be able to mobilize his listeners, and other podcasts would join the fray and mobilize their listeners and point them at Carolla's I'm Raising, or whatever he was, whatever crowdfunding site he was using, and point everybody at that and say, go donate, because if he falls, we all fall. Carolla's the biggest and baddest. He may not be the richest podcaster around, but he's certainly got the clout, and if he loses, what are we all going to do? We're all forfeit if he loses. And they found it extremely tough going, Personal Audio did, and they wanted to end it. Carolla wouldn't let him. Now this story comes from The Verge. I saw this morning. Patent trolls have a simple business model. They collect broad patents that appear to cover some part of an industry, and then they sue everyone, hoping that most companies will choose to pay a settlement over the hassle and cost of a lawsuit. That's what Personal Audio did with podcasters. The company has a patent that appears to cover distributing podcasts over the internet, and it began filing lawsuits against several popular podcasters, including Adam Carolla and How Stuff Works. There was only one problem. There's no money in podcasts, so Personal Audio decided it wasn't worth the cost to collect whatever percentage of revenue it was demanding from the companies it sued. And that's just, we know that's not true. This is The Verge just taking leads from what Personal Audio said. While other companies took the dismissals in July, Carolla apparently pushed back until now. We don't know the exact terms of the settlement, but a motion to dismiss was filed yesterday, and both parties agreed to a quiet period that will last through September 30th, as the EFF pointed out, last through September 30th. As the EFF pointed out yesterday, if suing a podcaster with the reach of Adam Carolla isn't a profitable enterprise, it's probably not worth it to sue any podcasting group. Score one for the little guys with no money. The big guys are still in the fight, though. Personal Audio still has a lawsuit pending against CBS, NBC, and Fox, which all presumably make more money distributing media than Adam Carolla. The EFF hopes that these companies will pay the legal fees necessary to fight all the way through to invalidating the patents in question, which would offer the most protection for podcasters and other online media outlets. But we'll see if anything gets that far, or if Personal Audio can slink away with some actual cash. Now, again, The Verge, taking what Personal Audio says at face value, if there was no money in it, then why did this drag on so long? You sue somebody, and you try to discover how much they make because you say, I'm entitled to what you have, and I need to find out how much you make so that I can know what to demand from you. That's what I need to find out. And that's like, what does that take? Like a month? 2 months? You figure it out? Oh, you don't make any money? Okay, bye. This went on for a long, long time. Ever since I started listening to the Adam Carolla show this spring, he's been talking about it. He's been talking about it for a long time. This isn't about money. This is about, oh, crap, we might lose this. And then we are, however much we spent, $500,000 in the hole. And we have to recoup that from CBS, NBC, and Fox. We have to at that point. If we cut our losses now, maybe we're only out $250,000 because we might lose against Adam Carolla. And if our patent is invalidated before we can go after CBS, NBC, and Fox, well then, holy crap, we've lost a lot of money. And we've lost our only gambling chip. This is about preserving the only chip in the game personal audio has, as I understand it. And it's not really a big chip because there's a Supreme Court ruling on the side of the people personal audio is suing. But the only chip that they may even have in the game is this patent. And Adam Carolla wanted to see this through. He was filing motions to invalidate the patent. That's why he wouldn't let it go, because personal audio wanted to just wait and then come back later, perhaps after they reach some kind of settlement with CBS, NBC, or Fox, and say, hey, look, CBS said it. CBS knew that they were infringing on our patent, so Carolla must be too. This was about protecting their bargaining chip. This is about protecting their only leverage. And if it was really about money, if it was really, hey, we can make a lot of money if we sue all these podcasters, they'd still be in court. But they're not, because Carolla wouldn't let him go, and he had people donating to his patent troll fund. He had people clicking through on his Amazon affiliate link to buy to make all their Amazon purchases. And he wouldn't let him go because he said, I'll fight you. Because I'm going to invalidate your patent so that you can't go after anybody else. And personal audio freaked because, holy crap, if he invalidates the patent, we're done. We are done. So just go away. Go away. We're sorry. We forget about it. They were on the verge of having their patent invalidated. And so they freaked out and said, oh, well, Carolla's just trying to be a crazy man about this whole thing, and we don't even know. It's awful. He's trying to use your money to, save this or that, or to enrich himself, all those things. It's not how it is, but the patent troll, suffice it to say, has been defeated. Adam Carolla, good job, everybody. Claps all around. A couple shows ago, I linked to Adam Carolla's click-through link on his, or I linked to his website and directed everybody to go click through the Amazon affiliate link. I don't think that's needed anymore, as again, The Verge is reporting that Carolla and his legal team filed a motion to dismiss, and everybody agreed, and we have to wait until September 30th of this year to find out from those directly involved what actually happened. But good news in the fight against the patent troll. Podcasting appears to be, at least for now, safe. Again, we have to wait until September 30th. I'm curious to know what the stipulations of the settlement are. I want to know, did Carolla fold on the you can't come back to get me or anybody else front? Is it you can't come back to get me? Yeah, well, that would be reasonable because it's Adam Carolla's show. I don't expect him to care about the Lefty show. I don't even expect him to care about the Joe Rogan Experience or the Nerdist podcast or Penn Sunday School or Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast. I don't expect him to care about any of that. He cares about the Adam Carolla show and things on Carolla Digital Network. Okay, all right. But I really want to know, is personal audio out there, do they know how to fight? Do they know now how to fight podcasts? Adam Carolla had the audience to fund a legal defense because, Joe Rogan's rich. Does he have $500,000 to fight personal audio? Bill Burr is doing well. He's a very popular comedian. Does he have $500,000? Does he have $250,000 to throw away? Yeah, sure. Here's $250,000. Got that in my shoe. He doesn't have Joe Paterno money. He doesn't have. He wasn't using the child rapist Jerry Sandusky and the child rapist's rape coffer, the Second Mile Foundation, to get sweetheart land deals and sweetheart business deals that enrich Joe Paterno to the tune of $200 million. He doesn't have that. And yeah, that's right. Joe Paterno was involved in business dealings orchestrated by known child rapist, Jerry Sandusky. And Joe Paterno, I don't know what you're saying, was perfectly fine dealing with the kitty toucher, the kitty diddler, when he was making him money, when he was putting him in charge of a water company that made him $50 million. Oh, he donated $6 million for the undergraduate library. That was nothing to him. Nothing. Joe Paterno had the kind of power where he could close down. He had political clout and monetary clout to the point where he could shut down plans to bring a large, potentially international airport to Happy Valley, and he shut it down. That's the kind of money and power Joe Paterno had via mainly his business dealings with a child rapist, serial child rapist. And he just forwarded up the line, and God, I hate Joe Paterno, bastard. I have to be careful because whenever the topic of Joe Paterno comes up, I immediately am willing to go down a tangent of here's why Joe Paterno is a bastard and I'm glad he's dead. But at least he's dead. I can take solace in the fact that at least Joe Paterno is dead. I feel good. I feel better now knowing that Joe Paterno is dead. And yes, I feel better that Joe Paterno is dead because Joe Paterno is a bastard. Joe Paterno enriched himself with a kid diddler, and then only when faced with somebody else, somebody from the outside witnessing the kid diddling, did he just kind of make a token effort of, I think he may have, I just heard this, I don't know. Despite in the grand jury testimony, he knew it was sexual in nature and he didn't follow up or didn't do anything like that. That's Joe Paterno for you. Making millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars with the business relationships via the liaison, Jerry Sandusky and the Second Mile Foundation. And then, and only then, when it became too much, did he pass it up the line. Yeah, glad Joe Paterno's dead, bastard. I can't hear a word you're saying because you're dead. Because you're dead. Hello, you talking to me? No, not you. Go away. So, does anybody else in the podcasting world have that kind of money to fight? Penn Jillette, maybe. Maybe Penn Jillette. And despite being an absolute free marketeer, Penn Jillette is not shy about using a branch of the government to protect his private business interests. So, or at least he's not shy about supporting Teller in doing so, because it was Teller that was suing a magician in, I believe in Italy, that was replicating or just wholesale copying one of Teller's illusions or act. Maybe it was an entire act. And Penn Jillette came out and said, "Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Penn, aren't you an absolute like free market guy? Like totally free market." Like, you're libertarian to the core. Like, free market, get government out of business. Free market. But you're not shy about using a branch of the government to protect your business interests, huh? Your private, quote, free market business. Okay. He's got money. He's backed by a casino. So, maybe he would fight it. But again, I think Penn just does the difference between many people is that Carolla does the podcast as a radio show. It's like a gig. Joe Rogan does it to that tune as well, but Joe Rogan is a regularly touring comedian. I don't believe Adam Carolla to be on that level. Bill Burr, regularly touring comedian with comedy specials and TV appearances and all these things. Carolla was the only one of the few that treats it as though it was a terrestrial radio gig. Like, this is his job to be a podcaster and media mogul. But I don't see other people doing that. If Penn had to pay $10,000 a year, or Joe Rogan had to pay $10,000 a year to do their podcast, it seems to me that they would just say, okay, yeah, sure, here you go. I just want to continue doing my podcast because my podcast is it's a hobby of sorts, or it's a way for me to keep people up to date on my comedy tour, and it's a way for me to perhaps test out material without actually going in front of a live audience, things like that. It's not a meal ticket for me. It's not my main moneymaker. I've got other business interests, many other business interests, and of course Adam Carolla does too. It just seems that Adam Carolla's podcasting business is much more of his income than other people. And look around. Who has the following or the money to take on personal audio should they come back as a result of this settlement? I don't know. Could be a little scary. All right, we haven't done this in a while. We haven't done. I've been thinking about radio bits that I could bring to the show, and I really want. I got to find a way to bring call in to the show, because a lot of the bits I have in mind would be listener interactive, but I don't want to do it over Twitter, because I could do it over Twitter. That's what I should say. I could do it over Twitter. I could do it over email. I could just set up an email submission account and tell people, send your emails here. This is the bit we're going to be doing next Thursday or Friday or Tuesday or whatever. This is what we're going to be doing. Email me your submissions. I could do that. I've done that before on YouTube, but I think it would be a lot more fun if we had a call-in platform, if there was a way to do that. So I got to mark it down here. I'm going to write it down. Research how to do that. But we're going to be doing some Would You Rather. And either.io, I'm not a fan of this. What the hell? This is either.io. Oh, they made some changes, I guess. All right. We're going to do some Would You Rather in lieu of some bits. I got some stuff cooking, though. Don't worry. There's going to be some listener interactive stuff in the pipeline. Would you rather... this is powered by, it was supposed to be yourather.com. Now it's either.io, which, okay. Would you rather be a genius in a world of unintelligent people, or be unintelligent in a world of geniuses? Now, speaking as somebody who is a genius in a world of unintelligent people, speaking from atop my ivory tower, let me tell you, being a genius in a world full of unintelligent people, because, I'm nothing if not a genius, is awful. It's awful. It's just bad. It's not... look, and again, I don't really mean to say that I'm a genius. I don't know, nor do I really care. But I've found that going through life, it's probably pretty easy to be a dullard. It's probably a very nice existence. Very nice. To not have the want to question things, to not have the need to question things, and I don't want to say ability, because I don't know, that it seems like I'm breaking my own arm, patting myself on the back, but I personally have a want to question. Somebody says this is the way it is, I say, why? Why is that? This is how it's supposed to be, or this is okay. And I say, why? Or are you sure? I have a need of sorts to be skeptical. And if I'm not skeptical, if a scenario arises in which I'm not skeptical of something, in which I can just go, okay, yeah, I feel uncomfortable, and I don't like it. It's not a lot of people wonder, and I take to Twitter, and I've talked about it before on this show, People wonder, why do I actually care that when I'm leaving a big box store a la Sam's Club or Costco, that there's an old man or lady perched there to check my receipt? And they are going to hold me at the door and try to prevent me from leaving, because good luck, Grandma. But they're going to try to prevent me from leaving until they can prevent me from leaving the store with things I bought. I already paid for them. The receipt is proof of my contract saying I bought this. Why I have a problem with that? Say, well, just go. Just what are you doing? Why are you even questioning this? Why just go? Just do it. It's not that big of a deal. And I say, you don't. And I want to turn it to everybody else, and I say, why don't you want to question this? Why don't you want to question this? I mean, it's as simple as a receipt check. I understand, but why don't you want to question it? Why don't you want to question these ridiculous things that we do or are forced to do or are expected to do in society? And again, as I said yesterday, I've got to, once in a while, the brain will turn on for a couple hours. Once in a while, there will be some stuff that will come out from my mouth, or maybe it won't make the circuitous route from my brain to my mouth. I don't know. Maybe it'll get lost along the way. I'll go, where am I? Oh God, in his nose. Well, once in a while, the brain there's a good thought there. Once in a blue moon. 7 years ago, I thought of something that was pretty neat. It was good. It was decent. It was all right. Not earth-shattering, but not, hey, when I wipe my butt, it's clean down there. Oh, yeah. It's a little bit more than that, a little bit higher brow. And even a person of my meager intellectual means, when I question and I'm skeptical and when I look around and I question things, and I say, well, why is it that in Illinois, the state's attorney can issue drug warrants for searches and seizures and things? Why does that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The state's attorney, while an officer of the court, represents the executive branch. They represent the police. They represent the case made by the government against a citizen. That's what they represent. And they have a duty to their clients to make the case for them. So when you go to the state's attorney, who will end up prosecuting the drug mule, when the police go for a warrant to search the drug mule or to surreptitiously listen in on cell phone calls or read text messages of the drug mule, it seems a little bit like a conflict of interest that the state's attorney, who will end up prosecuting that drug mule or drug runner or whatever, is the one that signs off on the warrant. It says, this is not a gross dereliction of your authority to violate this person's rights. Here you go. You cut out the judge because, the judges can't be there all the time. I say, okay, so what? When people appeal to emotion, think of the dead children, think of this, think of that, think of all the atrocities committed. I say, so? Well, the reason police pull guns on people charging them is because they may die, and police are entitled to defend themselves. I say, well, okay, but maybe they should take a little bit more abuse than the average person, average citizen, before they pull the gat. Maybe that's what they should do. Maybe there's they've got a little bit higher threshold of pain and tolerance for abuse. Maybe they should have that. You say, well, then more police will die, and police may die. There'll be more dead cops. And I say, okay, yes. And I don't have a problem with these things. And I question people that, how can you do this? So to be intelligent, to me, is to question. Is to be skeptical. And I got to say that, when you don't question things and you just, okay, I do this. It's fun going to, tomorrow night, the Bears are going to play, who are they playing? I don't even know. It's preseason football. It's awful. But it's the dress rehearsal game, because there's 4 preseason games in the NFL. Why there's 4, I don't know. There could be an 18-game schedule, and the NFL could make so much more money. But anyway. But they're selling out preseason games anyway, so who the hell cares? Right? I mean, okay, Sports Corner, impromptu Sports Corner. I should get. I need a whistle. I need a football, one of those sound bites, and I need something that's copyright free that sounds like NFL Films music, like do 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 do. I need something like that, but isn't that because it's copyrighted and YouTube will be very angry with me. Because again, if I had my own website and content distribution service, I could just play I could play copyrighted stuff all I want, not have a care in the world. One of the great things that Adam Carolla has, because he does it all on his website. He's got his own distribution network, and who cares, man? I'll play music. Don't care. Come on, DMCA me. But people, they sell out preseason games, so people that make the argument, there could be 18 regular season games. So what? They're selling out preseason. What more money are you going to make? Where does more money come from just by making it regular season as opposed to preseason? Maybe a little bit more, but okay. So anyway, tomorrow, the Bears are going to play their dress rehearsal game. They're going to treat it like an actual game. Jay Cuddy, he's going to come get you for 3 whole quarters. The game plan. They've studied film, which I didn't know. Apparently, the first preseason game in the NFL, you just go out there. You study your playbook, you know the plays, and you know your defensive responsibilities. You know your assignments, but that's it. You don't game plan. You don't watch film. You don't do anything. You're not like, oh, this guy likes to do this. They run. In 45% of third and medium situations, they'll run a shotgun with looking to the flats maybe, or they'll run a screen. Sometimes you got to be on the lookout, watch for the guard pulling and this and that. They don't do any of that. They just go out there. The second game, they just okay, well, blah 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 blah. Third game though, they treat it like a real game. So tomorrow night, the Bears are playing whoever, right? And I'm going to watch it, and I know I shouldn't. I know I'm an idiot for watching it, and I know I'm an idiot for caring. I know I'm an idiot for going, I'm going to be screaming at the TV, God, Cutler, what are you doing? Or, oh, my God, Cutler's the greatest. I know it's what I'm going to be doing, and I know I'm going to have that sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach when Cutler throws the ball downfield, because the wide receiver is out of the frame, and so you just see the ball in the air, and you don't see its landing spot next, and you have no idea the situation that the ball will find when it eventually comes down. And so you get that initial, and I'm going to do that. And I know it's dumb, and I know it's pointless because it's preseason, and it's pointless in the regular season because I'm not an NFL football player, nor am I in any way tied to the outcome of the Bears' regular season games or even postseason games should they get that lucky. But even more so than caring about regular season football, I'm going to be caring tomorrow about preseason football. And I'm going to turn off for those 2.5, 3 hours that I'm watching the game. I'm going to turn off my brain. I'm going to turn off skepticism. I'm going to turn off all that and just be a guy. Just be a dude watching sports. Be a person watching sports. And that's a nice existence. That's got to be nice, because when you just turn it off like that, when you just okay, I watch the football. It's easy. Life becomes so much easier when you get into a mode of, okay, I do this. It's so much easier to just go, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go have beers, drink Miller Lights or Bud Light or whatever they're pimping. I'm supposed to do that and then watch the football and then get my NFL fantasy game on and get all that. And they tell me what to do, and I do it, and I don't question it. I just go. And I'm just, okay. And that seems like a pretty nice existence. So you ask, would I rather be a genius in a world of unintelligent people or be unintelligent in a world of geniuses? I'd rather be unintelligent. Because the intelligent guys, the geniuses in that world still need to take dumps. They still have bathrooms that need to be cleaned. And I could be a janitor. And I'm just an unintelligent dullard that just walks around, and I just do what I do. And I go pick up checks. Or if we're in a world full of geniuses, they'll probably be smart enough to abandon capitalism anyway. So I'll just do what I do, and they'll take care of me because I'm just a guy. I'm just a janitor. The geniuses are figuring out they have to deal with the ills of the world. They have to deal with whatever bad things come their way. There's an Earth-killing asteroid 5,000 years away. What are we going to do? Oh, Jesus. And I got to clean the toilets. I gotta go empty the trash cans. Okay. You know, Gattaca, the movie Gattaca was a great sci-fi movie. I encourage all of you to check it out. I loved watching it. But, you know, the non-genetically engineered people, I forget how they were referred to in the narrative. But they were the workers of this utopian or utopic society. They were the janitors. They were the cleanup men. They were the window washers. They just did what they did. They didn't seem to lead tortured existences. They just went to work and they worked and then they went home. They didn't go to watch the pianist with the 12 fingers or the 18 fingers or whatever it was. They didn't live for 500 years or they weren't superior athletes, but they didn't live awfully. They just, I'm not genetically engineered to be a genius. I'm not genetically engineered to be a superior athletic genius. I'm not genetically engineered to do anything. I'm just a guy. Okay. What do? You go clean this toilets because you're not genetically engineered. Okay. And you'll take care of me and I'll get food and board and all this stuff, or room and board. Yeah. Oh, okay. Seems nice. I'd rather be unintelligent in a world of geniuses if given the choice. All right, let's do some news. We got a lot to talk about in the news today. Speaking of sports dullards, Chicago bar bans Cowboy fans, the Cowboy fan group, due to their expletive-laden rants. Oklahoma City Catholic bishop sues over a planned satanic black mask, or black mass. Man carrying umbrella prompts a scare at CSU San Marcos. There's some more news that James Foley, before killing James Foley, ICE just demanded a ransom from the U.S., which they did not pay. And the Bank of America, in a record $16.7 billion mortgage settlement, pays out a fine. It's the news with Lefty. Let's talk about Bank of America. This is from the BBC. The Bank of America has agreed to pay a record. Oh, look at this. A record $16.7 billion to U.S. authorities for misleading investigators about the quality of loans it sold. Or misleading investors. Okay? So, just on that first paragraph alone, Bank of America has agreed to pay a record $16.7 billion to U.S. authorities for misleading investors about the quality of loans it sold. So, Bank of America made, is that all they profited? Did they only make $16 billion from lying about subprime mortgages? Is that all they did? From packaging subprime mortgages into investment packages and then selling them to investors? Is that all they made? Did they only make $16.7 billion? They probably made more, right? What would you guess? A little more? A lot more? Did they make only $20 billion? Is $16.7 billion the closest, the U.S. authorities could approximate? Or did they make, I don't know, $50 billion? $100 billion from the entire practice of packaging subprime mortgages and selling them off to investors and selling them to investors, lying to them about, hey, no, these are good. Never mind, the default rate is some astronomical stuff and they know they can't pay it back and all those things. They probably made a lot more, right? So the Bank of America makes, let's call it $50 billion, and they've got to give away, 30% of it. They've got to give 30% of it back. They still get to keep the other 70% that they made and paid out to executives and all the people that brought in the loans with their various incentive programs. I know there was a story earlier about actual loan officers being incentivized to just, we don't care if they can pay it back, just get them to sign the papers, get them to buy the money. And so they made, let's say, $50 billion, which is probably conservative, but it keeps the math easy. So they got to pay out 16.7 or $17 billion. Let's get the calculator out just to be fair. We got to be fair, right? So they're paying out, let's round up, $17 billion divided by the $50 billion they made. So they got to pay out 34%. They still get to get to keep the other 66%. They get to keep 66% of $50 billion. That's what they get to keep. They get to keep $33 billion that they made. Did it cost them $33 billion to run this scheme? Probably not. They're coming out ahead. And also, not only is what they're paying out to the U.S. authorities just when it comes to what they actually made, they're paying it out to U.S. authorities. Now, who did they defraud? Who did Bank of America defraud? Was it the U.S. authorities? Was it the Justice Department? No, it was American people, investors, citizens, corporations, other people, more, investment firms, hedge funds. That's who they defrauded. They defrauded real people who put their savings, pension funds, who put their money, who put their faith into people. And they defrauded them. Willfully, yeah. Not even shy. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, you got us. Oh, you got us. Yeah, we lied about it. We lied about how good our investments were to encourage more investors. Yeah, you got us. Oh, darn, a fine. Nobody in prison. The loans were sold by Countrywide Financial and Merrill Lynch before Bank of America bought them in 2008 at the height of the financial crisis. The Associate Attorney General said no institution is either too big or too powerful to escape punishment. Oh, really? Oh, really, Associate Attorney General? Escape punishment? They're making $50 billion. And 50 is really conservative, and they made $50 billion, and they're got to pay 34% of it back. That's your punishment? Oh, we got them. Not one person in jail for defrauding people, for committing some kind of securities fraud? Intent to commit securities fraud? Nothing? Nobody's perp walked? That's not punishment. That's a fine. You get a fine. What do? You pay it and you go about your business. Bank of America probably made double, triple my conservative $50 billion estimate packaging subprime mortgages as real investments and selling them off to people. Double, triple that. And here's Associate Attorney General, hey, big stroker, this is real punishment here. No! This is just, you got caught, you got to pay us a little something. Give the U.S. Justice Department $16 billion for something. What are we going to do with it? I don't know. The settlement will cut the bank's third quarter profits by $5.3 billion. Bank of America will pay a total of $9.65 billion in cash and provide consumer relief worth about $7 billion, much of which will go towards homeowners struggling with their mortgages. The cash component consists of... So wait a second. No, hold on a second. Wait. Why is money going to the people struggling with their mortgages? Why is that? They signed the papers. How shouldn't it go to the people that got burned by the investments? Shouldn't you pay them back? Why is it going to the idiot who's like, I'll go get this cheap money and buy me a house. All right, yeah, here's my money. It's like, you can't pay this back. If you could do simple math, you could figure out you can't pay this back. But I don't care. It's free money. Yeah, free money. Get me a house. You work at McDonald's. You make $15 an hour working as a janitor. You make $20 an hour working as a janitor. You're trying to buy a $400,000 house. You should be able to know you can't pay this back, but screw it, man. Sign the money. Here you go. And now I'm struggling with my mortgage. Oh my God, evil predatory lending. Somebody help me. Why isn't it going back to the people that Bank of America defrauded? Because incentivizing loan officers to get the paperwork done and to get people's signature to paper, I understand that. The loan officers weren't forging signatures, were they? Were the loan officers forging signatures? Were they forging the signatures of people? Were they showing up with a gun and a bag of cash on people's doorsteps saying, you take this $350,000 loan or I'm going to blow your brains out? Is that what they were doing? No. The guy still had to go to the bank, ask for the money. He was still vetted, still had his credit run, his job history. He still probably had to submit some pay stubs for the last couple of months. But the Bank of America said, screw it, we'll lower just whoever wants in, you get the money. Fine, because we're selling it out the back at incredible amounts of money. We don't care. the guy still had to sign his name, or the woman had to still sign her name. The people still had to come in and say, yes, I will pay this back. I'm going to take this money, and now I'm going to pay it. I will pay it back over the next, whatever the term is. They got the terms. They read the terms. They're responsible for knowing their own financial position, and they sign the papers. Why are they getting money? The money should go to the pension funds that were just gutted when all of a sudden these ticking time bombs went off. These ticking financial time bombs all went off. Why would anybody think, oh, you got to help the poor people who signed their names to papers saying they would be able to pay it back, but then figured out they couldn't pay it back? Whose fault is that? The cash component consists of a $5 billion civil penalty and $4.63 billion in compensation payments. The case centered on Countrywide Financial, the biggest lender at the time of the crisis, and Merrill Lynch selling mortgage loans to investors but not explaining the full extent of the risk involved. Tony West, the Associate Attorney General, explained, it's kind of like going to your neighborhood grocery store to buy milk advertised as fresh, only to discover that store employees knew the milk you were buying had been left out on the loading dock unrefrigerated the entire day before, yet they never told you. And just like you might be in for an unpleasant surprise when you got home and poured yourself that glass of milk, investors such as public pension funds and federally insured financial institutions were unpleasantly met with billions of dollars in losses when those securities investments soured. Okay, so that's the scam. That's actually a really good analogy for the scam Bank of America was running. One, why is nobody in prison for that? Two, why is compensation money, why is any money they paid out, the fines are a pittance to what they actually made, why is any of that going to the people that signed the papers for the mortgages? Why? Yeah, so again, James Foley, we're going to talk about that next story up. You know, I'm sorry that you can't pay your mortgage, and it sucks that, well, you know, the fact that you lost your job probably is more tied to the fact that that your crappy mortgage was packaged as part of a security that was sold to a public pension fund, and that pension fund was gutted, and a lot of financial institutions lost their asses on all this. And everybody had to contract and to try to cover the margins, and your job got lost, so it came back to bite you. And it sucks, and I'm sorry, but you signed the papers, my man. You gambled. You lost, or you're currently losing. Maybe you'll find a really nice job and be able to break even or even win. But as of right now, you still gambled and you lost. And speaking of James Foley, this is from another story from the New York Times. Before killing James Foley, ISIS demanded ransom from U.S. Kneeling in the dirt in a desert somewhere in the Middle East, James Foley lost his life this week at the hands of the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. ISIS. Before pulling out the knife used to decapitate him, his mass executioner explained that he was killing the 40-year-old American journalist in retaliation for the United States airstrikes against the terrorist group in Iraq. In fact, until recently, ISIS had a very different list of demands for Mr. Foley. The group pressed the United States to provide a multi-million-dollar ransom for his release, according to a representative of his family and a former hostage held alongside him. And addendum, or brief aside, that ransom was reportedly in the hundreds of millions of dollars, about $130 million, I read somewhere else. The United States, unlike several European countries that have funneled millions to the terror group to spare the lives of their citizens, refused to pay. The issue of how to deal with ISIS, which like many terror groups now routinely trades captives for large cash payments, is acute for the Obama administration because Mr. Foley was not the lone American in its custody. ISIS is threatening to kill at least 3 others it holds if its demands remain unmet. The New York Times has confirmed through interviews with recently released prisoners, family members of the victims, and mediators attempting to win their freedom. Oh, so we got some proof of life stuff going on. I always wondered if that movie was like actually based on anything. So a lot of people are using this to bash the Obama administration and the U.S. government as a whole in their foreign policy because they were this comes after the U.S. released a report that they actually tried a special operations rescue of James Foley and other U.S. citizens being held by ISIS and other Islamic militant groups, but it failed. Their intelligence was bad, and the people had been moved. Now people are using this reported ransoming attempt to say, hey, why you could have saved this man's life. He could be home now. and safe and sound and all these things. Why didn't you? Why did you opt instead? We don't negotiate with terrorists, all those kinds of things. Oh my goodness, how you are responsible for the death of James Foley, Barack Obama or U.S. government and their foreign policy. And even yet, I have yet to see anybody say the only reason he was ransomed is because he went back to Syria in 2012. He was freed in 2011 after being held for 6 weeks in Libya. But then he was freed and went back to Syria. Just went back. Okay, I'm going back. Yeah, I was in this war zone, or I was in this combat zone, whatever. And I was doing my thing, and I got captured, and I was held, and holy crap, that sucked. And now I'm out. Man, woo! I won. I'm alive. Yay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back. I'm going to head on over there, back to the Middle East for my photojournalism. He gambled again. He got captured and then ransomed. I have a hard time putting the onus on the United States of America or the taxpayers of the United States of America, because that's what this is. Because when you say the United States of America should have paid out $130-something million for James Foley's release and the release of other U.S. held captives, but specifically here, James Foley, when you say the United States should have paid the $100 million to ransom for his release, you know who's paying that? That's the American taxpayer somewhere is going to have to pay for that. It's not going to, I mean, they can create it from nothing and say, yeah, by the way, this exists, but somewhere down the line, that's going to have to be accounted for. Somebody's going to have to eventually pay for that, and it's going to be the American taxpayers. So why do the American taxpayers care about the life of James Foley, whom in 2011 was captured, held, released, and then he went back? Why are citizens of the United States of America, the collective citizenry of the United States of America, why are they responsible for the gambling debts of James Foley? Why are they responsible? They're not responsible. He gambled, broke even, and then gambled again, and then lost. American people shouldn't pick up that debt. No, that's not our problem. I mean, sure, if you're engaged in military operations in that area anyway, and you want to send a spec ops team to try to get them, okay. I got no problem there, because at that point you're micromanaging your talent. But just no. Just say, oh, well, other countries funnel hundreds of millions of dollars to ISIS. They pay ISIS. What do you think they do with that money? Do you think they're just going to go away? If they would have paid however many people ISIS supposedly have, let's say they're all worth $100 million to them. Okay, so what do they got? They got 10 people. Okay, so that's $1 billion. You're going to give ISIS $1 billion, and let's say you do, to free everybody. All these governments, right? Oh, yay, we saved 10 people for $1 billion. $1 billion! The lives of 10 people, many of whom were probably photojournalists who went there on a whim and tried to, I don't know, maybe they have a story similar to James Foley. I was here on my own, and I know that's a bad area, and I got clipped anyway, and save me now. So now we give $1 billion to ISIS. Are they just going to go away? What are they going to do? What are they going to do with that $1 billion? Are they going to go sit on a beach? Is that what they're going to go? Are they a diehard villain? Or are they just going to go to Acapulco earning 20%? That's what they want? What a great investment that guy had lined up, by the way. We'll be on a beach earning 20%. Where do you find a... Maybe he was packaging subprime mortgages. We found this great thing. Maybe that's why his brother was so pissed off in the third movie, because he got burned investing in securities backed by subprime mortgages, and that money they stole, or the money, let's assume they stole it. The money they stole from Nakatomi Towers was all gone. He killed himself. We were supposed to be earning 20%, but then we found out the securities were backed by awful mortgages. So I'm pissed. I think we're onto something here. So, look, it's sad James Foley's dead, but why would the American taxpayer pick up his gambling debt? Because the $138 million or whatever ISIS wanted was a gambling debt. It was the gambling debt of one James Foley because he had specific experience with that and decided to go back. And the gambling debt of, oh, should we go get him? He's the amorphous value of being, held in captivity. What is that? Oh, no. This is a concrete nominal value. $138 million is what it would have cost the American taxpayers to forgive James Foley's gambling debt. And I don't decry Obama for not paying that. No. It's not the American people's business to care about you, James Foley, because you like to take pictures in a war zone, knowing the whole time that it was incredibly dangerous. You did it, and you lost. Well, that's all you got. Goodbye. I'm sorry you're dead, but goodbye. Speaking of get the hell out of here, the Chicago bar, this is from Yahoo Sports, Chicago bar bans Cowboys fan group due to expletive-laden Tony Romo rants. The past 2 decades have been tough on the Cowboys. The last 3 years, perhaps the toughest, each ending in defeat with a playoff berth on the line, and that suffering has led to the plight of their Midwest fans. It's not easy being a Cowboys fan, especially in Bears territory, so transplanted Dallasites in Chicago have gathered in a Lincoln Square bar for the past 3 NFL seasons. Call it group therapy. But the family-friendly Brownstone Tavern banned Dallas Cowboys fans in Chicago from gathering this season due in part to a rowdy patron uttering in the presence of children, "F you, Romo." Brownstone owners delivered the news via email to DCFC organizer Mark Hockmuth, and a since-deleted post on the group's Facebook page reportedly detailed the profane specifics. While members of the organization are still welcome to visit the bar, the audio from Cowboys games will not be broadcast, essentially encouraging diehard Dallas fans to watch another 500 season elsewhere. Ooh, taking a shot at Tony Romo and the Cowboys. Oh, okay. What is, I'm guessing that these expletive-laden rants, also known as the Lefty Show, these expletive-laden rants about Tony Romo and the Cowboys took place at a bar on Sunday football, during Sunday football, probably around 11 or 3 o'clock game. I want to know, why was a child at a bar at noon or 3 o'clock on a Sunday? What was a child doing there? Do they have a breakfast platter for the child? Do they have a playpen? You're at a bar, a place. First of all, the name is Brownstone Tavern, and it's referred to as a bar, not as a grill or eatery with a wet bar in the back. No. This was a sports bar. Why was a child there at noon? A child. Listen, when you bring a child to a sports bar or a place where alcohol is served in copious amounts, it's on you to protect that. I mean, it's not on everybody else to make sure the evil things that alcohol, the creature brings out from people, stay away from your child. Don't bring your child to a bar. What? Oh my little Timmy heard he heard an F-bomb dropped by some drunken idiot who's really mad at Tony Romo. Sure, yeah, the guy's an idiot because, first of all, he's not a transplanted Dallasite, okay? He's some guy who probably grew up in the north side of Chicago and was pissed that the Bears always sucked, with good reason. And so the Dallas Cowboys spent a lot of, they're like the Yankees of football. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan now. Yeah, I like it. And Tony Romo went to Eastern Illinois, so there's kind of that connection. So yeah, Cowboys. This isn't like I moved from Dallas to Chicago, but I still need to find a way to watch my Dallas Cowboys. No, you're just a Dallas Cowboys fan because they spend a lot of money. You know, ESPN talks about them a lot. They're always in the news, and it's very fun to be a Cowboys fan because everybody's always talking about the Cowboys for some reason, despite them being awful. So spare me I'm really a fan of Dallas, man. No, you just like the attention. But the guy's an idiot for apparently taking sports way too seriously and screaming at a TV. But I spoke earlier in the show. Tomorrow I'm gonna go get drunk and I'm gonna scream at the TV. That's what I'm gonna do. It's preseason football. But when you bring your child to and the guy's an idiot, okay? I stipulate. You brought your child to a bar. And if it's the ownership that did it that's taking the offensive and saying, "Oh, we won't have that around here. We're family friendly." Well, don't call yourself a tavern. Don't call yourself a bar. Probably call yourself a grill and put that little cutesy E at the end so that everybody knows that you're kind of cultured. Call yourself a grille. Don't call yourself a tavern or a bar or a pub, because when you call yourself a tavern, people are going to go there and get drunk. That's what they're going to do. And then when they get drunk, guess what they're going to be like? Drunks. And drunks curse a lot. Drunks curse a lot. They take things way too seriously. They sometimes pee on things. But you're trying to have your cake and eat it too when you say, "Come on down to my tavern, but don't be a drunken idiot because we're family friendly." You're not family friendly. You overserve people alcohol so that they'll buy more food and then buy more overpriced alcohol, and you put on the game to bring them in. And then you get mad when they act as though they had been served too much overpriced alcohol. What the hell? All to protect the little children, because little Timmy can't hear the F word. That's going to stunt his psychological growth. If he just hears the F word one too many times, he's going to... No! F your kid. This is why I would much rather be unintelligent in a world of geniuses. Let's bring it home. Another great episode of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining me. I had a great time putting on the show for you. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can do that, as well as find gaming and vlog content of all kinds there. YouTube.com/LeftyOX. Thank you to everybody else for following me on Twitter. Twitter.com/Lefty643 is where you can do that, or just at Lefty643. Stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news. Thank you to everybody else that's been donating. I'mRacing.com/643 Productions. And thank you one and all for sharing the show with friends and family and coworkers. Helping the show grow is it's growing every day, and I thank you all for doing that, sharing the show. LeftyShow.podbean.com for the RSS feed, or wherever you get your podcasts. Android, iTunes, iOS. Search The Lefty Show. Be sure to subscribe, download all the episodes. Anyway, guys, that's some time I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye. Everybody has affinity for cock.